Go.
I'm Scott.
I'm Cheryl.
I'm Nigel.
When my husband was in school, he was the type of student that drove teachers crazy. He constantly questioned them, corrected them, and if he didn't see value in a task, he either put forth no effort or just enough to get by. What his teachers probably didn't realize is that my husband may have been a gifted student. His questioning was just him trying to understand why things were the way they were. His corrections were not meant to be disrespectful. He just wanted to make sure that everyone was receiving the right information. And his lack of effort was fixed as soon as he saw the value in a project, at which point his efforts and his products easily rivaled those at the top of his class. If he had been identified as gifted, it might have made the situation better for everyone involved. The information that I have for you today has been retrieved from Gifted Child Quarterly, the Davidson Institute for Talent Development, and BrainyChild.com. To properly serve gifted students, it is important to understand how to identify them and work with them in a way that meets their unique needs. Today we will discuss common traits of all gifted children, how these traits manifest into different profiles, and how we can serve all types of gifted students. First, let's discuss some of the common traits shared by most gifted students. BrainyChild.com had a list that was very similar to some that I've seen before. It said that gifted students are fast learners, they are inquisitive, they have a good sense of humor, a good memory, and they're creative, perhaps artistically, musically, or in another manner. However, I feel that this just skims the surface of traits to look for when trying to identify a gifted child. The Davidson Institute included information that said gifted students are able to concentrate for unusually long periods of time when they are interested in a subject. However, if they are not interested, they become very bored and lose interest. When asked questions, they provide ambiguous answers that often depend with phrases such as, "It depends," because they are able to see so many sides of an issue. Finally, giftedness lends itself to underachievement. We will explore this underachievement a little bit more as we look at the different profiles of gifted students. There are two types of gifted students that are easily recognizable. They are the successful and the autonomous learner. The successful student accounts for approximately 90% of the students in gifted programs today. They are high achievers that are also willing to conform to the rules. However, they are very dependent upon approval and probably don't have high self-confidence. The autonomous learner is a high achiever, but does not conform to the rules quite as much. They're willing to take risks because they're confident in their abilities and they stand for their convictions. The second group is a little harder to identify because their behavior is what's focused on instead of their gifts. These are the challenge, the dropout, the underground, and the double labeled. The challenge student is what I described in my husband. It's the student that's always asking questions, that becomes bored easily and may cause disruptions, and that just is generally frustrated because their understanding is so much greater than most of the students in their class. If this student's frustration grows to too great a level, they may become the dropout. This student is so angry and feels so misunderstood that they just quit, they give up. The underground student either knows they are gifted because they have been identified or just because they feel different, but they either want to fit in or for some other reason they are ashamed of their gifts, so they try to hide them. Finally, we have the double-labeled student. This child was first given a label with a learning disability, and that is what's typically focused on. However, it is important to understand that they may have exceptional talents in addition to that disability. Now that we understand the common traits of all gifted students and the different ways in which these traits can manifest, let's talk about how to serve all of our gifted students. First and foremost, we need to include all of them in a GT program. All gifted students will benefit from interaction with other gifted students. Gifted and talented students are the only students that do not benefit from heterogeneous groupings. Gifted students also need accelerated curriculum. They need a chance to take risks and to pursue their own interests. This will keep them motivated and allow them to be the high achievers that they are able to be. Finally, when serving a gifted student, everyone really needs to use a little common sense. If the gifted student is frustrated or angry, they may need therapy or counseling. All gifted students can benefit from a positive role model that's also gifted. Finally, look at the gifted student's individual case. They probably have needs that are similar to any other students, but it will help them recognize and use their giftedness. I've created this chart to tie in all of the information we have covered today. With your gifted student, you have someone that is inquisitive, a fast learner, and creative. When their needs are met in the manner discussed, they have a positive self-concept. They are high achievers, confident, risk takers, they pursue their interests, and they have appropriate social behavior. However, if their needs are not met, these students may be frustrated, angry, ashamed, underachievers. They may have a poor self-concept, and they probably doubt their abilities. In conclusion, not all gifted students fit the typical gifted profile, but with a little understanding of the common traits of gifted students, it is easy to identify and serve all of them. By understanding the traits of giftedness and considering them when you look at any child with which you are in contact, you may be setting them up to use their gifts in the best way possible.